if you're just joining, you have clicked by Just Stamp with Anna Marie. This is the 12 Days of Christmas series. We are on day 9, and today we are working on gift tags. So here's a little tag we're creating today. It is cased from Debbie Scott, who had a tag that she was swapping this past Saturday at the Stamparista team meeting. Her tag was a little bit different. She had different supplies, different materials, so I'm bringing in the supplies that I have available. And the first thing I'm going to gripe about is I wish we had bigger circles. I am going to be using the layering circles dies, and I do love these dies because they have the scalloped die. They are in incremental sizes. Hello, Debbie J. They are in incremental sizes, but they don't quite get big enough for my liking, or at least for this particular project. So I'm using the layering circles. I am using the Jingle, Jingle, Jingle stamp set, and I am going to be using the Jolly. Debbie Scott had the Jingle, but she had bigger circles, drats. I'm going to campaign for bigger circles from Stampin' Up. We are also using one little stamp set from the, I think this was, yes, the October Paper Pumpkin. This was an adorable card set, and I sold out on all my extras. I did get one, and I'm going to be using the stamp that says deliver to. So the kit had really cute stamps in it. I'm going to pull the delivery to use on this particular project. And so let's take it away. Oh, I neglected to get one of my essential tools. I'm going to start off by sharing with you. We need one piece of cardstock. I'm using Crumb Cake. It's 3.5 by 7, and I'm using a scrap of basic white. I need my essential tool, my paper trimmer, because I am going to score this craft paper right in half to 3.5. So it's going to be a square of 3.5 by 3.5. And I'm going to fold it down, and I'm going to bring in my layering circle, and I'm going to need my cut and emboss machine. So this is a tag that's going to open up. I've done a couple of versions of it. One is just a flat tag that looked like this. It didn't open, so you could just flip it over and stamp on it. The one we're making today, it's actually a tag that has a fold to it. We're going to open up and be able to sign the person's or the gift recipient's name and the from there. And the way we're going to get that circle, we are going to be cutting a circle, and I am going to put the die. I'm going to bring in my standard cut and emboss machine. It happens to be hanging around the craft table. And let's see. I am going to put the circle, I don't want to cut 2 circles. I want it to be able to fold. And because I want to train the circle or manage the circle, I'm going to use a piece of washi tape. So what I'm doing is taking the circle, I'm going to push it up just past, see, that's ordinarily where I would cut, but I'm going to push this up just past, and I do want to be able to see some space in there. If I pull down too low, the lip on the die could actually get within that cutting area and cut 2 circles instead of the one folded circle. So I do want to see the space. I'm going to go ahead and use my washi tape to hold that in place. And then I'm going to apply or add my second standard cutting plate, and see, it kind of is moving. My plate is so bowed. I think I mentioned this yesterday, so that makes me wonder, what project was I working on yesterday that I mentioned my bowed cutting pad. And it's crazy because this is a new cutting pad from last week. That's how much die cutting I have been doing. I just say between me and my assistant. Okay, so I'm going to take that washi tape off gently, and you're going to see I have a tag that can open up. I wanted to remove that washi. The cut and emboss machine really pushed it onto there, so I want to be careful and not tear the paper. So just being gentle, pulling it. There we go. And so now you see I've got a tag that will open up, and I'm actually going to flip it open there. Now I'm going to bring in my embossing buddy because I'm going to be using my Versamark and my white embossing powder. Let's see. I also need my piercing mat because we are stamping with a photopolymer stamp set. I'm going to be using the Versamark, and the first thing I'm going to stamp is the outline of the word jolly. So there is debate on which one you should stamp first. Should you stamp the outline first or the inside pattern? This is two-step stamping. So it has an outline, and then it's got the inside with the cute little stars and stitching and candy cane and snowflakes and more stitching. Super cute, but you have to mind lining it up, and it's a little bit tricky. And I discovered, yes, if I do the outline first, it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to press down firmly using my piercing mat underneath. And done with that. I'm next going to bring in my powder, and I'm going to actually emboss this before I continue stamping. It's a little bit easier to stamp that way because it's hard to see where you've stamped without the powder. So, and I don't want to smudge the powder, so I'm going to go ahead and emboss or heat. And I always like to do mine from down below so I can see when it's melting. The gun's not in the way. There it is, it's starting to come. So the way you know that the powder is melted, it's going to look shiny. There should be no dull bits. And once the gun is heated, it doesn't take long. All right, there is the jolly. I'm going to push this aside because we're going to do more stamping. Make way here. And I'm going to bring in a couple of things. First of all, the stamp says, "'Tis the season to be." So again, this circle is not big enough, so I'm just going to stamp "'Tis the season." So it's kind of like an interrupted thought. And I like that this is photopolymer. I can see right through. I don't have to mask anything. I'm just going to ink up the "'Tis the season." And this goes directly above the jolly. And again, because it's photopolymer, you can see right through. Yay! Makes it easier. So "'Tis the season." I'm going to do a second stamping with the little Christmas lights. And this is going to go down below the jolly. And then I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss this. So this one takes three attacks with the gun, just because that clear or the Versamark ink is hard to see. I don't want to smudge on over areas or anything. Let's see, there we go. And hopefully I don't have any extra ink. I don't have my brush handy. Usually I have that here. All right, next. Second heat embossing. So we have one more inking, and this is the one that requires a little bit more precision. I'm going to ink up the second step of the jolly. So I'm going to add my Versamark to it. A little tricky to see because we don't have any ink on this stamp to guide us. So I like to stand up and be right overhead, and I can see the outline through. Right. And I'm always say it's not critical, especially with an outline. Sometimes you do have an angled outline text. So there. And then one last heat embossing. So three times with that heat gun. But I like the contrast of the white on the crumb cake. It's a classic design. It's going to go with almost any color of packaging or wrapping paper. All right, and you know, the magic of heat embossing never dulls with me. I love it. I just love that contrast there. We're ready to put on our string, but I'm gonna fancy it up a little bit. I'm using just standard hole punch. This is from the office store. I'm gonna punch right through. Hello, Corinne. Thank you for joining. Thank you. I do like the white on crumb cake. I think it's quite striking. I think just black would look awesome too. All right, next I'm going to add a little reinforcement. And the way I'm going to do that, just with my punch. And then I'm going to bring in a 1/2 inch circle punch. It's a retired punch, but I save all of my circle punches. I hope you do too. And I'm going to hold on to this using my tweezers. So if you have that embossing kit, this would be a great time to use it. You would have used your embossing buddy, your brush, your tweezers. I have kind of like a makeshift assortment of everything. I just want to put it in 3 or 4 little dots right on that circle. This is going to come over and be placed right in position. And I'm going to press down with my tweezers and kind of burnish that on there. There we go. And we're almost done with our name tags. So you could mass produce these, have all uniform ones. I'm going to add a little bit of embellishment while that dries. I'm bringing in my holiday red rhinestone basic jewels. These are always available. I love that bright sparkle. And I'm going to use my take your pick and add some color to that string of lights. Right in here. Yikes. I have a runaway rhinestone. There we go. And then one more. And you know, you could do just one red rhinestone as well. That would be pretty. You don't have to overdo. And I am using just linen thread. Cover up that ink before I get things inky. And I'm just going to eyeball approximately 9 inches. I'm going to snip that off, paper snips, or sorry, ribbon snips. And what I like to do, because sometimes when I get down to the bottom of the bolt, it's a little bit curly. I'm just going to take my nail and kind of glide it through, straighten it out so that I'm able to control the linen. I like to fold in half, and I'm going to go from front to back. Whoops. Without dropping. Let me get that out of the way. Just bring that up. I'm going to loop it through. And there you go. There is our little holiday gift tag. So very cute, 'tis the season, jolly. And then one last thing, if we want to stamp on the inside, of course you could just write, but I have this cute little stamp from the paper pumpkin, and it says deliver to, so it makes it official. And I'm gonna stamp in black, not gonna emboss. We're gonna sign in probably a black pen as well, or you could use a colored, that'd be fun. Deliver to, put the recipient's name on there. So super cute, easy name tags, still handcrafted, so the gift is still special with your handmade holiday tag. All right, my friends, that is it. With the basic tools, you have your paper trimmer, your cut and emboss machine, some dies, and we did some heat embossing on this project. Thank you, Debbie. And I have Debbie Scott to thank for the cute gift tag that I cased. Again, hers was a little bit different, so super cute. Here's my version. All right, so I will see you tomorrow for day 10. We are winding down, and I'm almost done with all my projects. Have a great evening. I'm looking forward to tonight, seeing lots of stampers around the crafty table. Thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow.